Arabic can receive. So you send out.
Are you talking about that? You can send it for me. Just use this email. Yeah. Yeah. Just you can reply to that or something, and then
Oh, okay.
send the link.
So there's one night in Ramadan which is better than 1,000.
If I looked up the dictionary, it's called Al-Ma'ani. It's easier to look up stuff in that.
Yeah, the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
It doesn't give the root word. You can guess the root
So
word
do you
because
turn
it
off the
gives you
video,
some
Yeah,
word.
we normally turn on the video. So yeah, you can. Normally it'll give you a detailed explanation of what the meaning is. It'll give you the root verb itself. Like let's say for example, masjid. It will show you from which word is coming from, the root word. You'll find it somewhere there. But it's mashallah really good. Is
When I was doing
From
the
here, you
Qasas
know it.
homework, I could not find any
Yeah?
hands word.
oh, sorry.
Qasas homework, I could not find
Yeah. So yeah, the best thing is if you can't find it in the Hansware, look in Al-Ma'ani. It's really good. It's just, but are you looking at the English Arabic or just Arabic to Arabic?
English Arabic.
Okay, that's I don't know how good that is. I don't use the English to Arabic, but I use the Arabic to Arabic, and that's really good. I think that's actually much better. Siraj, the thing is, it's sharing the screen.
So from last week, the recording, it should be on your computer.
Yeah, I saw that it kind of like configured the whole thing. So. I'll put it on the folder, inshallah.
No, you don't have to do it. You can do anyway.
in their screen? Anything on your screen?
Yeah. That's fine. Okay, yeah, it normally does it.
Just that.
Yeah, it's visual.
Oh, it shows all the industry. It's good, right? So
So the Eid of Ramadan is called
I will
Eid.
test.
So what do we do? Something you have to do for this Eid. Prayer is there.
On which verse we stopped for the Quran?
We're
Translation.
supposed to start, yeah, you let me know.
What's the number of the verse?
178. 178.
Is it like that? Yeah, you like it. Oh, yeah.
No, we start with 178. I'm pretty sure.
What side did we finish, right?
Yeah, you let me know.
Yeah. I don't know.
No.
I remember.
I can only want to.
We're talking about Masakin, right?
Yeah,
Finish
right.
the last time.
Alright.
Maybe I
Hey, we'll start from there. From Ya Ayyuha Alladhina Amanu, because that's there.
I haven't done the homework this week.
Which one is it? The recitation.
Any.
Uh,
I only did the first page of Qasas. It was so long.
Alright. Yeah. Walaikum
I can try.
assalam. Alright, just wait till 7:30 and then inshallah.
Should we start to learn typing in Arabic?
Yeah, you should. I mean, you can do it on your own. I mean, that's what we did on our own. It actually works. It's easier eventually, but with the Arabic keyboard, There's a few like for the Hamza, you have to hold shift and
I realize that.
yeah. Then the Kasra is you'll have shift and Q for the Dhamma. No, I think it's Q for Fatha, shift and Q, shift and I mean A for Kasra, and the Tanween. Uh, we can do a tutorial on that, but yeah, I think maybe we'll need a screen or just a presentation or something. So because how are we gonna do it? Oh yeah, you have this on-screen keyboard, isn't it? That'll show.
I have a projector at home.
I think the masjid has one. Yeah, we got one in the room. Yeah, maybe we can do that for the next lesson or something. Type out something.
If you have a tricycle, then your hands will fall off. It'll be easier. It's over there. No, sorry, I'm not gonna do this. I'm saying. It's over here one side. No one can catch it. No, you look at it. Oh my God, because I have to catch it. Come to this way. Try to catch us.
So we got a class next, so you guys stay here, okay? Yeah. We have a class now, so you guys cannot make it. You can try forever? Okay, so then you have to either go outside or stay here. You can come from inside now. Okay, you know that, right? Okay. Yeah, just, if you want to play here, just play here, don't come inside.
Oh, yes,
For the kid, reading one.
The other side.
Siraj, is everything working?
It is working. Yeah?
All right, it's done.
Double check once.
It's all right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Come this way now.
Start.
Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم
Yeah, read louder so that they can hear as well. Huh?
يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم القصاص في القتلى. All you have believed, prescribed to you is qisas in killing,
In the killed, in the
in
murdered.
the kill.
Yeah, so qatla is those who have been killed. Like marda is a jama, right, of qatil. Qatil, qatla, marid, marda. Right? How we say, Allahumma shfi mardana. Right? All our sick ones.
الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد والأنثى بالأنثى. Free man for a free man, slave for a slave, and a female for a female. فمن عفي له من أخيه شيء فاتباع بالمعروف وأداء إليه بإحسان. So whoever is forgiven from his brother a little bit,
Oh, whoever is, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, anything we can say.
or anything. فاتباع بالمعروف, and follows what is good.
Yeah, so the following, you can say, so following up in a good manner. The following up in a good manner.
And follows up in a good manner.
Yeah.
وَأَدَاءٌ إِلَيْهِ بِإِحْسَانٍ, and payment.
Umair, who's that? Who is that? All right, now no coming this side, right? We got the class going on.
And payment to him in good. ذَلِكَ تَخْفِيفٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ. This is to make it light from your Lord
Yeah,
and mercy.
yeah. So this is you can say a concession from your Lord and a mercy. All right. So what this is actually speaking about is that a person who's been killed, the revenge is to, the retaliation is to kill that person, right? So if you kill a free person, you will be killed. Yeah, right. A slave who killed another slave, he will be killed as well. So there's two. One is qisas, right, which will be the corporal punishment that is instituted. Then if the relatives of the murdered person wish to forgive, they don't want to take the person's life away, they have the choice. So they have the option of saying, we'll not take revenge, or we'll not kill the person, but you pay the diya, or you pay the blood money. So that is what it's referring to. So if he's been فَمَنْ عُفِيَ لَهُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ شَيْءٌ, it's referring to that, where you forgive or you pardon the person by not taking his life. So once you've forgiven the person, then don't feel now that he owes you something. You've forgiven him, it's done. So don't pressurize him, then follow up in a good manner. Don't sit on them, or don't demand the diya from them more than just exceeding the bounds that you are supposed to. Don't think now you've done them a favor by forgiving the person and granting the person life or sparing his life, so you can demand the diya in any way you wish. You have to follow the guidelines. There's a whole ruling on that you have the aqila, or all the family members will get together and contribute a certain amount, etc. So the procedure must be followed as well. Don't think you've done the person a favor now, so you can demand it how you wish.
Also, when we talk about qisas in our language, generally it just means the money. So in this ayah, it also means
No,
killing.
qisas itself refers to killing,
Okay.
right? Or not necessarily killing, but physical retaliation. Right. So even let's say, for example, a person's hand was cut off. You cut off a person's hand, his or your hand will also be. So that is also part of qisas. Any type of physical retribution. All right. The giving of money, that is diya, that is the blood money.
Sorry, if I missed it. That means.
The kill, those who have been killed. Jama' of qatil.
Yeah. So in the translation, is the context killed in battle?
No, this is those who have been murdered. Qatla is like you've unjustly murdered somebody. Right, so
So
those,
is that that's what's it's unjust killing?
yeah, unjust, it's murder. Right. So qatla is the jama' of qatil, the person who has been murdered.
So why did we use Jama here?
So it's referring to a whole anybody who has been killed. Right. So not just one person. It's applicable to everybody.
فَمَنْ اعْتَدَى بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ فَلَهُ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. And whoever transgresses after that, for him is a severe punishment. وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. And for you in qisas is life. O people, O men of understanding, that perhaps you become conscious of Allah.
So what is the life in here?
So what is meant by that is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribing qisas, there's life everybody, because if a person knows the punishment that will be met out to him for murdering somebody or harming somebody, he will abstain from it. He would not want to. So it actually brings life to the community in the sense that other people's lives are preserved because of the stringent punishment that is, going to be met out to anybody who dares to kill somebody.
Isn't it?
So it's actually bringing life to the community. So the benefit of qisas is that it saves the community from murder or from unjust killing.
And because it's ta'khir and nakira, is that what brings the emphasis?
Yes, yes, that's right. So tanween ul ta'zim, right? So it's not just a life, it's a great life, or what you can say.
So how does that come out?
Tanween is for ta'zim, right? So one of the sometimes tanween is for taqleel, meaning to show little, and sometimes tanween is for ta'zim as well. So,
So like في قلوبهم مرض.
yeah,
That's
so
the same idea.
that's right. في قلوبهم is so not many. It's intense, right? So there's great life. Or there's what you can say, a lot of sparing of life. You can translate it that way. So that's an intended meaning.
Should have been hayatan, otherwise.
No, it's a mubtada. It's khabar muqaddam and then mubtada muakhar. But he's asking why it's tanween. So a lot of times you'll find a word in Arabic that is mentioned with tanween. It's not just purely nakira. It's also to show that there is a greater meaning behind it.
You said ta'zim, right?
Ta'zim, yes. So sometimes there's a taqleel, right? Taqleel means to show little, all right? They say daqiqatun, or that's 1 little minute, right? Or you can say daqa'iq, just so that's also right? Or yawmun wa layla, a day and a night. It shows that it's little, right? But sometimes in context you'll find that it's actually for ta'zim, to show greatness of the aspect.
كتب عليكم إذا حضر أحدكم الموت إن ترك خيرا الوصية للوالدين والأقربين بالمعروف. Prescribed to you is
So look at which is the fa'il first.
موت.
No,
Wasiya?
al-wasiyya is the fa'il.
Why not al-maut?
That's hadara ahadakum. That's you can say a sentence that comes in between. So maut is the fa'il of hadara.
Right.
Right, but what is the naib fa'il of kutiba?
Okay.
Al-wasiyya, right?
So prescribed to you is the, what do you call it? The will?
The wasiyya, the bequest, right?
The same thing as will, right?
Will is actually what you've written.
Okay.
So wasiyya is going to be the bequest, the actual doing of the will, or the the giving the instruction, right? Giving instruction
So
of
what's
this
the request then?
bequest. Bequest is the correct word.
Which is the actual living of the wealth or the writing of the wealth?
The leaving of the instruction to leave wealth behind, how it should be distributed, right? So that wasiyah can be maktub or it can be ghayr maktub, meaning it can be written or verbal, it doesn't matter. Of course, better to have it in writing because it's a transaction, right?
Hold on, I didn't get a difference between will and wasiyah.
So wasiyah, I mean, it can be interchanged, like wasiyatu maktubatun inda, that comes in the hadith, right? It's not permissible for a person to spend 2 days if he has something of worth, except that his wasiyah be written or his will be written. It can also, al wasiyah in this context refers to making a bequest or giving instruction on how your wealth should be distributed after you pass away. So wasiyah is also a bequest.
So first try.
It's the action of making a will or the action of leaving instruction.
But then you have kutiba, right? Kutiba is majhul.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
the
should have a
wasi-
naib file.
So that is it. Al wasiyatu is the naib file.
So when you are doing the translation, you always would want to put the naib file or the file.
Yes, either the file or the naib file will always be translated first.
Okay.
So the wasiyah has been prescribed
Okay, wasiyah has been prescribed to you
upon you, right?
upon you when one of you when death is present at one of you.
Yeah. So
When death is present.
yeah. So when it comes to maut, right, or death, it's very common in Arabic to say death came present. Or death was present. That's why you call the person who was in the throes of death the muhtabar. The muhtabar is the person who is about to die. So you can just say when death comes to you, right? So the wasiyah has been prescribed upon you when death comes to you, right? When death comes to one of you, in taraka khayra, if he has left behind wealth. Khayran in this context is wealth, mal, right?
So when you have ida and a fail madi together, does it give the meaning of mudare?
Yes, always. All right. So when there's a fail madi, although it's supposed to be past tense, but when you have either before it, it'll be translated in the future tense or the mudari. Like إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح. It's when the help of Allah will come.
Is this specific to Quran or is it elsewhere?
In classical Arabic, yes, that is standard. All right.
Why would you not use not in Quran but elsewhere? Why would you not use
It's
the mudare?
just
It's just a poetic way of saying it.
it's a poetic way of saying it. Yes, that's more it, right? But otherwise, generally in normal Arabic, it can be used either. But even like either ataytumul masjid, when you come to the masjid, I mean when you will come. Although you use the madi, it means when you will come to the masjid, then do this. Fasallu, then perform salah. So Iza actually forces it into a mudari in the translation. Right?
للوالدين والأقربين بالمعروف, for parents and relatives with good,
Yeah, or in a good manner. All right.
in a good manner. حقا على المتقين. حقا in this case is
It's an obligation, right?
okay.
So haqqan ala and haqqan lahu, right? So one is haqqan alayhi, it's an obligation on him. Haqqan lahu is a right that is due to him. Right?
So obligation on the God-fearing.
Yeah.
So haqqan by itself will then be truth.
No, you'll translate it as
If haqqan comes by itself.
yeah, haqq itself literally means as truth, right? It's the haqq, it's the truth. But haqq is also, it's my haqq, it's my right.
But then in that case you would say haqqan lahu.
Yeah, it's my right, it's haqqun li.
The law has to have
Right,
something.
yeah.
Okay.
So haqqun li is my and haqqun ala is somebody else's.
It's that obligation on a person, right?
فمن بدله بعد ما سمعه فإنما إثمه على الذين يبدلونه إن الله سميع عليم. So whoever changes it after what he has heard, then the sin is only on the ones who change it. Indeed, Allah is all hearing and all knowing.
So just an explanation of this verse is that number one is that this verse has been abrogated by the other verses of mirath or inheritance, right? So here you can see, you might ask the question that why is wasiyah being prescribed for those who are inheriting, or for the walidain, the parents, they are already heirs. We know as far as inheritance is concerned, you cannot make a bequest for an heir. So in the beginning stages of Islam, this was the instruction that you must make a bequest for your parents. There was no verse of inheritance revealed. That you must make a bequest for your parents and for your relatives. There was no specific direction as to how it should be done. Right? It was just the instruction that make sure that you leave something for your parents and for your close relatives. Otherwise, what used to happen is that the elder brother would take everything away, and even the woman would be inherited, etc. So this was the initial phases of inheritance in Islam. And then after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also explained, the verses of Mirath was also explained or came down later on, which abrogated this, that there is now no wasiyah for parents or any heir. At the same time, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said, "Allah la wasiyata liwarith," that there is no wasiyah for an heir, or a person who will be inheriting. Rather, they will inherit. They will not be recipients of a bequest. Although this here explains, or this shows the initial phases of inheritance, but then the verses of inheritance that were revealed, like yusikum Allahu fi awladikum, that is what we will adhere to as far as the laws of inheritance are concerned. Then the next verse is that whoever فَمَنْ بَدَّلَهُ بَعْدَ مَا سَمِعَ, the person who made a bequest or who wrote his will or gave instructions, if anybody changed it, meaning the person who was a witness or the person who was the executor, they made any change, then that sin is on the one who changed it. It's no sin or no fault of the one who left the instruction behind, because he didn't do anything wrong.
فَمَنْ خَافَ مِنْ مُوصٍ جَنَفًا أَوْ إِثْمًا فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. So whoever feared from the Musin is the one who testified.
This is the sorry, it's not executor. It's the correct word for it. Testator. Yes, that's right. Right.
So which means the guy who executes.
The person who is writing the will or giving the instruction, right? The Musi or the Musin in this case, right, is the one who is giving instruction. So he's right. So Awsa, right? From Awsa Yusuf or Musin, right? Al Musi is the one who is the testator, right? So that's the correct word for it.
Janafan aw ithman, unjust or sin. فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ. So he mediated between them.
So he tried. فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ. He tried to mediate between them.
No, so who is the huwa here referred to?
Right.
And then who are the bainahum?
So this is any person, right? فَمَنْ خَافَ مِنْ مُوصٍ جَنَفًا أَوْ إِثْمًا. Anybody who feared from the testator that he will do something unjust or something sinful in his bequest, right? In him leaving instruction.
Testator would do that, or
the testator. So let's say, for example, you are the witness.
Okay.
You are a witness to it, or you are present, and you are seeing the person, he is distributing his wealth unjustly, he is leaving incorrect instructions. So this is فَمَنْ خَافَ is referring to that person or to you, right?
Okay.
فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ. So you try to make an effort of setting things right and mediating.
Okay.
فَلَا
I mean the
إِثْمَ,
testator
and the family members.
Okay.
Right? فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. So there's no sin on him. So why this verse was revealed was to show that although the person has the right to make a bequest, but when it comes to distribution, if there's any injustice and you try to stop it, you have the full right to do that. In fact, that is your duty. So don't feel that the person has full right to do what he wants with his wealth. You also have the right to try and rectify the situation.
Why is Aslah past tense?
So that's also, it becomes like for aslah, it's like shart and jaza. So you can also use,
But it's like it comes off as an imperative. Like فأصلح.
yeah, that's right. It's like that, right? So فأصلح بينهم فلا إثم عليه.
Jonathan can also be error.
What's that?
It is under.
Janafan is like ميلا عن الحق, meaning that you're doing it unjustly. You're deviating from the right way of doing things.
So is that intentional then? Does it imply doing it intentionally?
No. So Janafan is unintentional, all right? And Ithman is doing it intentionally. فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ, and so it's actually not imperative in the sense that you must do it. فَأَصْلَحَ, it's just explaining the situation. Anybody who feared that the testator would do something wrong and then he made an effort towards reforming it,
Okay.
he is not sinful. فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ.
And that would apply even now in spite of the
Yeah,
earlier
that's-
words being abrogated.
Yeah, so the only thing that's abrogated is that the wasiyah for the walidain.
Okay.
Right? That's it.
So I just, I'm just trying to make a full flow of this sentence. فَمَنْ خَافَ مِنْ مُوسٍ جَنَفًا أَوْ إِثْمًا فَأَصْلَحَ بَيْنَهُمْ. So whoever had a fear from the person who is doing the wasiyah, and who is Janafan or Isman? Janafan Isman applies to the Muslim.
The musin, right?
Why would he khafa?
Now, faman khafa is, let's say, for example, you are present. Whoever fears is referring to gender. Anybody who is present with the musi, with the testator. So that person feared. He was afraid that the musi was going to do something wrong.
Okay, it's not.
So he
that
feared
I'm
from
afraid
the
of this person, no.
No, he's afraid of the sin or the mistake of the.
I'm afraid he may not make a mistake.
That's
It's
right.
like this.
That's right.
Inna Allah ghafurur rahim. Allah is all forgiving, and merciful.
Hassan, right?
يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed upon you as it's been prescribed upon those before you, such that you can attain God consciousness. أيام معدودات, so for a limited number of days. فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخرى. So if whoever from amongst you is sick or traveling, so it's like for a period of days, of other days, I make up your fast.
That's right.
So what's the purpose of Allah suffering?
It said he's still
So
traveling.
what's the,
Yes.
like I didn't understand the word the use of Allah.
Allah is like fi suffering. Like how we have Allah can be in the ma'na of fi,
Okay.
and vice versa.
Because- and there's like, for example, here they're using like minkum maridan, which is ismu fa'il, right? And then ala suffering.
So one of the implied, so if you look at the tafsir also, the implied meaning is that it gives that he finds the mashaqqa of safar as well. He's not just traveling.
Okay.
He also finds it difficult to fast. Because at the end of the day, I mean, okay, if you look at the end of the ayah,
Right.
وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ
Right.
إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, that you fast is better for you.
Okay.
So, and we know in the hadith also, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that the person who missed out the fast of Ramadan, he can fast his entire lifetime, will not be able to make up for it, in the sense that with regards to the blessing. Right? So there's no doubt that even if you are on safar, the emphasizing is that you fast, unless you're finding the mashaqqa or the difficulty. So ala safarin is also implying the meaning of there being difficulty. So he's in travel, meaning he's finding the strain of travel at the same time. It doesn't mean that you don't have the end of the day, the concession is still going to apply if you're musafir. But the implied meaning of the verse is that you're finding the mashaqqa, or you're finding the difficulty as well in traveling.
Which is not the case for Marid.
Marid, you're already sick.
Yeah.
Bukhara is what is the composition of this? Like this is it Babul Taf'il?
Which one is that?
أخرى.
أخر. So it's like فعل.
باب تفريق
Yeah.
مؤنث.
مؤنث, right? So there's فعل, right? So أخر. It's just أخر itself it's an exception. You'll get فعل, but أخر is an exception. It doesn't get tanween.
Is that اسم تقدير?
Yeah, it's from ism, right? So like أخرى, أخريان, then أخريات or أخرو, right? So like فعل, فعليان, فعليات or فعل,
This
فعلون.
is
اسم التفضيل مؤنث,
okay.
right?
Jama.
Just the jama', yes. Right? So it's just أخر doesn't get tanween, right? But it's the jama' of اسم التفضيل مؤنث.
Its meaning is other.
Other, right? Yes, other.
وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له. So, and upon those who are able, so fidya is like dispensation.
So this is a little bit of a tricky one, right? وعلى الذين يطيقونه means وعلى الذين لا يطيقونه,
Or not able
or
to.
not able to fast.
Yeah, so the context now makes sense.
Yeah, so it's because of context. So there's certain things where you don't have to mention the negative, but it's implied.
So the ha returns back to they're not able to fast.
Fast.
What is it
Som,
able to do
siyam.
with hardship or something?
Was it?
Is it able to do with hardship or
وعلى الذين يطيقونه, he's able to do it with hardship. That could be it as well, meaning that he is able to do it with hardship, but he's still excused from it. But most of the tafsir say وعلى الذين لا يطيقونه. They say that la should be understood over there. Whoever is not able to fast, then they.
This is the fidya the mubtada.
Yes, that's right. Is
So this is from Ataqa Yutiqu, which means not able to.
yeah, ataqa means to be able to.
Right.
La yutiqu is not able to.
Okay. Yutiqu would be the mudari, right?
That's right.
So you're saying the law was omitted out.
Was omitted. It's understood. It's something which is implied in the verse.
It's got nothing to do with the person being able to afford the fidya itself.
No,
It's just implying to not able to fast.
that's right.
Is this also shart and jaza here?
Yeah, that's right. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ. So if you are able to, so if you're taking it in that meaning, that you are able to afford the fidya, then this is the amount you should be paying, right? The ta'amu miskin.
Can you take it into that?
You can take it. There's also another tafsir of it.
Right. But that only applies to a person who is not able to fast.
Yeah, so that's why we give preference to la yutiquna, that you are unable to fast. That's when the fidya comes into effect.
Right.
Somebody who has the ability to fast has to still make up for the fast by qada.
Why is even qada being mentioned here?
Ukhar.
That's
The ukhar is already done, right?
right.
So,
So this is addressing the situation of somebody that is unable to fast at all. Let's say somebody is chronically ill or he's got diabetes or whatever it is.
Right.
So it's referring to that. So that's why we give preference to ala ladina la yutiquna, those who are unable to fast. They do not have the ability to fast.
So that's the shart first.
That's
that
right.
The person is not able to fast.
Then only you're allowed to do fidya.
Right.
So
That
that-
makes total sense.
So if we're doing that, we are actually this is one of the preferred. It's not the only tafsir.
Right.
It's like you'll find the madahib also, they'll differ in tafsir because of the rulings that come out of it. For example, أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ وَطَعَامُهُ, right? The Shafi'iyya say that sayd refers to the animals that have been caught in the sea, right? So any of the sea creatures, they're halal. The Hanafiya, they interpret it to mean صَيْدُ الْبَحْرِ means istiyadu, al-istiyadu fil bahr. Fishing itself has been halal for you. It doesn't necessarily mean all the sea creatures are halal for you. That's why we can't eat crab and what else? Anything that doesn't fall under the category of fish. Right? So the same thing here, right? وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يُطِيقُونَهُ is favoring those, or those that favor the opinion of you can only give fidya if you are unable to fast at all.
Right.
Right. So
So طعام المسكين, is that the khabar? The,
So fidyatun is mubdal min. Fidyatun. What is the fidya now? Ta'amu miskin.
okay.
So that makes
Okay.
sense. So the other tafsir, where in the case if you are able to afford
To
it,
afford.
then give fidwa.
Does, so that's
That becomes a little.
so that's according to Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, is that if a person can misses the fast of Ramadan, he has to make qada and also give fidya.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
It's cool.
so
Imam Shafi said,
yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
I
what?
hope you're mistaken.
Alright, okay. Okay. So but in any case, it's one of the madhab, right? That you.
No, I think if it's you are able to, if you're not
Yeah. So that's so from what I recall is that
Yeah.
there's one of the madhab that actually you have to give fidya as well if you can afford it. That you'll fast, you make qada, and you based on this verse.
But wasn't there another hadith? The hadith when a poor person came to the Prophet ﷺ and he couldn't, when he had broken his fast
All right.
and he didn't even have money to give it.
Mm.
So is that being referred to?
No. This is not being referred to here. This is referring to that situation that. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ So if you're gonna make the translation that way, or the tafsir that way, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ Those who are able to afford the paying, right, or the fidya, then for fidyatun ta'amu miskin. This is the fidya you need to pay.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe just check with your brother on that and confirm it with us as well.
I might have
You
something there.
got double debt. So,
Also, the Sayyidul Bahri in Hanafi Mazhab, so is it makruh or is it haram to eat shrimp?
no, it's not permissible.
Not permissible
yeah.
would be haram.
Well, no. So yeah, we're a little bit different on the what you can say the terminology of shariah. Maybe this is something also that you should know. It's about time you should know. So haram and not permissible they have a certain difference between them. When they say something is haram in the terminology of Sharia, means that it's something which is qat'an haram. There's no doubt about it. It has been explicitly prohibited either by the Quran and Hadith, right? Let's say, for example, riba, zina, the eating of pork, alcohol. So we say that is haram. It's completely out. Those things that are not explicitly prohibited or expressly prohibited, then they fall under the category of not permissible. They are not such a strong degree of prohibition. Especially you got a difference of opinion. You have the other madhab, the Hanbali madhab also says that any sea creature is permissible. So you can't say it's haram. There's no explicit. This here is where the interpretation is differed, whether something is permissible or not. So Sayyidul Bahr does not explicitly prohibit any sea creature or the general sea creatures or creatures of the sea, or even the other hadith that we use, "Uhillat lana maytatan," that two dead things are permissible for us, which is fish and locust. So from the Hanafi madhab, how we come to the ruling is that we say anything that has not been slaughtered, any living thing that has not been slaughtered is haram, period. Except for those things that have been excluded in the hadith. The only two things that are excluded in the hadith is fish and jarad, locust. There's only two things that have been excluded.
What's locust?
Like grasshoppers.
dirty.
Yeah.
You can eat that?
Sayyidina Umar used to love that.
No surprise.
It's a small thing.
They
There's-
recommend put it instead of a marshmallow, put it on the.
All right, next
Or
time we do
shouldn't
barbecue,
you put on alive though, like on the grill,
you need to kill it. Otherwise,
right?
it's haram to torture
burn
that.
it, right?
You get them there?
In Saudi, there are a lot. In fact, yeah, they use. It's something like that, but it's not the same. Locust is more like a grasshopper that's light in color, but they're more common in the dry areas. So Sayyidina Umar used to love eating that actually. So it was, I think, considered a delicacy.
Sometimes things come from the cultural background. And
Mhm.
in Saudi, even up to until today, they eat and sell dab.
Dab, right? Okay, like an iguana
Just
sort
like
of.
chicken, or the chicken
Uh-huh.
shop you can buy.
Uh-huh.
And we even can't stand the sight of it.
Yeah, true. All right, so
Sometimes it's like,
What are you talking about? So yeah, as far as that,
You're talking about the Maitatan.
yeah, the Maitatan are two, right? Which have been excluded from the prohibition, which is fish and locusts. So anything that falls under the category of fish will be permissible, right, in the Hanafi madhab. But anything that does not fall under the category of fish is not permissible. That's why you have the difference of opinion.
Prawns.
I say it's fish, it's shellfish. So-
Actually, the definition was
Alright.
if it lives partially in water and earth, like crab, that's where it was makruh. But if it's completely
No, so that in the Shafi'i madhab, that which is not from the features of the Cree, like the land crab, that's not permissible.
Yeah.
So so that's how we came to that. So Saydul Bahr, like you have the same thing here, right? Yutiqunahu, that's based on the tafsir. So I mean, based on the madhab, we'll do the tafsir accordingly. So one is you can say Yutiqunahu fidya, whoever is able to pay the fidya. But the other way is whoever is not able to fast, for fidyatun ta'amu miskin, is the fidya of the feeding of a poor person. Alright, carry on.
And also it's missing the fa in the middle for the shart and the jaza. Right?
It's not necessary. That's necessary when you have a adatu shart itself, right? One of the
So فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له. So whoever voluntarily fasts, or whoever fasts,
no. فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا, whoever gives more.
for
Fidya.
what?
Fidya.
Oh, so this is referring to the fidya.
فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ.
Because the translation said like whoever does good voluntarily.
Yeah, good is actually بِزِيَادَةِ عَلَى الْقَدْرِ الْمَذْكُورِ.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that
So-
always is that just the tafsir, or is that the general meaning of it?
It's a general meaning as well, because فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. But I mean, you can also take it in the general sense of anybody who does good, it's definitely good for him. Anybody who voluntarily does a good action is good. فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ, it's better for him. Any nafil deed.
Right.
كُلُّ مَعْرُوفٍ صَدَقَةٌ. But in this verse, is فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا, it's referring to the قَدْرُ الْمَذْكُورِ of طَعَامُ miskin. Right? The amount of feeding a poor person. You give the person more, it's better.
So whoever does that, it is good for him. وَأَنْ تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. And if you were to fast, it is better for you. إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. If you were to know, or if you knew.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan is that which the Quran was descended in it, or was revealed. Huda linnas, guidance for mankind. وبينات من الهدى, and a clarification of guidance. والفرقان, and a criterion.
Why is it Satan Tatabba'a?
Sorry, فَمَنْ.
Faman Tatabba'a. Previous ayat, Faman Tatabba'a khayran fahuwa khairul lah. Why is it Fatha?
التطوع. Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Should it not be Tatabba'u?
No, this is تفعل, the ماضي معروف. تطوع يتطوع.
And it was a criterion. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ. So whoever witnesses from amongst you the month, فَلْيَصُمْ, fast it. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ.
Yeah, so فَلْيَصُمْ is amar. فَلْيَصُمْ also. In Arabic, the amar, you don't have to say وَلْيَصُمْ, you can say وَلْيَصُمْ or فَلْيَصُمْ. You don't have to say فَلْيَصُمْهُ, you can say فَلْيَصُمْ. You can join it like that. So you'll drop off the kasra on the lam will be dropped off and change with tanween, or sorry, sector, because of the joining.
So what is the joining here?
Yeah, it's supposed to
Yasum.
yeah, so it's supposed to be فَلْيَصُمْ, but you can say this فَلْيَصُمْ.
So whoever amongst you witnesses this month, or the month of Ramadan, fast it. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ. So whoever is sick or upon travel, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ, make up those days, or fast other days. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ that God wants from or for you ease, وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ, and He does not want for you hardship. وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ, so to complete the days or the period. وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, and to glorify God upon that which He has guided you. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you can be grateful. That you can be grateful.
In the فَلْيَصُمْهُ, the who is referring to Shahr Ramadan.
The Shahr, that's right.
Does that make sense in the sense you're saying fast the month?
First month, the entire month. Siraji.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. If my
When?
When my servants ask me,
Ask you, سألك. Ask you.
فَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي, my servant
Yeah,
ask
you. إذا سألك. When my servants ask you.
And about me, فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ, I am near. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ, I answer their du'as.
The caller, ad-da' is the
dua of the caller.
Yeah, the dua of the one who calls.
إِذَا دَعَانِ, if they make prayer to me.
When he calls, da'a, it's supposed to be ni, right?
Yeah.
إِذَا دَعَان, so when he calls me, when he makes dua to me.
Why is stopped?
It's that's how it is in a lot of places, right? Like the ya is dropped just to make it easy. So, but it's implied because of the kasra on the noon, and the noon and the kasra, it shows that there's supposed to be a ya, which has been dropped off.
فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي
لَعَلَّهُمْ
يَرْشُدُونَ. Let them respond to me, answer me, or let them answer me, and وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي, and believe in me, لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ, so that they are rightly guided.
Just a comment on this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has referred to Himself 7 times in this ayah. Huh? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has referred to Himself 7 times in this ayah. Ibadi, my slaves, anni, from me, ujibu, I respond. Yeah, so keep going, and there's 7. So.
أُحِلَّ لَكُمْ لَيْلَةَ الصِّيَامِ الرَّفَثُ إِلَى نِسَائِكُمْ. رَفَثُ إِلَى نِسَائِكُمْ. It is permissible to you on the night of fasting.
So rafath is the naib file that will be translated first.
Okay.
Approach.
No, so approaching your woman, your wives, right? Approaching your wives
on the night of fasting.
I have a question about the previous.
Has been permitted. What's the question?
The وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ is also madi, but because of إِذَا it became
future. When they ask you.
And then فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا is the same thing as فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا.
That's right. It's a فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا. And فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا.
هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنَّ. They are clothes for you, and you are clothes for them. عَلِمَ اللَّهُ أَنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ تَخْتَانُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ فَتَابَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَعَفَا عَنْكُمْ. Allah knew that you were deceived. You were deceiving yourself, and you repented.
فَتَابَ عَلَيْكُمْ.
فَتَابَ عَلَيْكُمْ, I forgive you.
He forgave you.
He forgave you. وَعَفَا عَنْكُمْ. It's the same.
And
I accepted your repentance.
and pardoned you.
And pardoned.
What's that?
How did so deceive? How do you,
Yeah.
how
So
do you
what?
understand that?
So what? Yeah. So they would actually deceive. They thought they were. Oh, what you can say? It's just another way of saying that you thought you were deceiving Allah, or Allah was not aware of your actions, but actually you were just wronging yourself, or you were deceiving yourself.
This
Nobody
is
else.
back to that they were approaching their wives
Yes,
during
so-
the days.
So what had happened was that in the beginning stages, when fasting was prescribed, even going through or approaching your wives or sexual relations in the night after breaking fast or after iftar was prohibited. And it happened such that, of course, being a natural need, some of the Sahaba had engaged in relations with their wives. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then made it easy for the ummah that this was cancelled, or this ruling was cancelled of prohibition. And then you find that فَالْآنَ بَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَابْتَغُوا مَنْ. So now you can approach your wives. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I knew what you were doing, I was aware of what you were doing at night. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has pardoned you for that. فَالْآنَ, but now the permission has been given to engage in relations with your wife.
I have heard from a tafsir that the word bashiruhunna is actually referring to skin contact. So the sheikh actually expelled all the kids out before explaining and they say that it's actually encouraged in Ramadan time because of this word.
Okay.
Just an explanation.
Encouraged or discouraged?
Encouraged, like it's like
Paragraph.
yeah. So he
Time
said
is short,
the
eh?
language is actually graphic. And it's
Very short.
Don't tell me to read fast in Tarawih.
What's the meaning of hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul?
So hunna libasul, I mean literally it means they are garments for you, right?
What does it mean?
So what it refers to, one is, there's many meanings. So one is like how you are in need of clothes. Every person is in need of clothing, so you need your spouse like that as well. Another thing is that the clothing, it protects a person from the heat, the cold, like that. A spouse is supposed to protect each other. It's a very comprehensive word, libas, or the way that it has been phrased here. Also, your clothing conceals your faults that are on your body, or any blemishes. So like that, the spouse is also supposed to be concealing the faults or concealing the inner matters or intimate matters of the other spouse, etc. So it's actually a very, very comprehensive.
Does it include the meaning of beautifying as well?
Yes, that's there as well. Right, libas is also. I mean, it's there, but
Stretching it, but
you are stretching it actually. Right? But also another meaning is like if you look at one of the verses that's coming is that وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. Right, so taqwa has been used as, or libas has been used for taqwa as well. So, and this is one of the things that have been implied in the hadith also, that person who marries and half of his iman is complete, and then he just has to fear Allah in the an-nisful baqi. So it also encourages or brings about taqwa in a person's life. It makes it easy for him to acquire that.
2 wives doesn't complete them.
What's that?
2 wives doesn't complete them.
There's more clothing on you.
oh man, another joke.
Meta does 4 to emphasize.
Yeah.
فالآن باشروهن وابتغوا ما كتب الله لكم
كتب الله لكم.
And from now, have relationship and seek what Allah has prescribed for you.
So, Bashar, like I said, it's skin to skin contact. It comes from the word bishra. Al-bishratu is the skin, your skin. Right? So that's where it comes from.
وكلوا واشربوا حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الخيط الأبيض من الفجر
أسود من الخيط الأسود من الفجر.
من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. Then eat and drink till the white thread becomes visible or
becomes clear to you.
From black thread of dawn.
So the first min, that's referring to yatabayyana, right?
Yeah, that's right. من الخيط يتبين من الخيط حتى يتبين الخيط الأبيض
Min
من
al-khayt
الخيط الأسود.
khayt al-aswad, right? Now the second min,
Yeah.
so what is the meaning implied there in min al-fajr?
Like thread of Fajr.
Yeah, so the min al-fajr, so that al-aswad is,
So it's like the first min I got that. It's between the two khayts.
you know,
The second min is what is.
Until the white thread becomes clear from the black thread of Fajr.
So are you saying that the black thread is off fajr?
of fajr. So it's from the fajr, meaning it's at the time of dawn. It happens at the time of dawn.
Initially, in the first, phase of revelation, Min al-Fajr words were not included. So but it was implied that.
So that's also, yes, that's true as well. So there was a Sahabi who had not understood the verse, and he had put two threads beneath his pillow, and he kept looking at that to see whether those two threads, a black thread and white thread, became separate, and it didn't happen. And then when he went to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this was actually revealed, من الفجر حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر, to make it more clear. Meaning min is bayaniya, that is the fajr.
ثم أتموا الصيام إلى الليل, then complete the fasting till the night. ولا تباشروهن وأنتم عاكفون في المساجد, and don't have a relationship when you are staying in the masjid for worship. تلك حدود الله فلا تقربوها, that's the limits of Allah, and don't approach it.
And so that is actually a ruling of i'tikaf. وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. So you would get people that would be in i'tikaf, and then they would go out at night, or they would go out like how a person would go out to the toilet and have relations. So this here has been prohibited in i'tikaf.
كذلك يبين الله آياته للناس لعلهم يتقون. And like that, Allah has made it clear His ayats,
These verses.
For the people, so that they are pious.
So they adopt piety. Alright, it's still baby gone. Are we finished with our coach? Are we still
Last.
Okay.
So that ruling is specifically for ethics.
اعتكاف, that's right. أنتم عاكفون في المساجد. Alright, Atik.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل وتدلوا بها إلى الحكام لتأكلوا فريقا من أموال الناس بالإثم وأنتم تعلمون. And don't eat your properties among yourselves wrongfully, nor approach with it to the authorities, so that you may eat a portion of the wealth of the people sinfully, while you know.
So this is referring specifically to, one is to usurp other people's wealth. Right? لا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل. Don't do it in an unjust way. وتدلوا بها إلى الحكام, referring to bribery, that you give it to the rulers. You give your wealth to you present it to them, to the rulers, so that you can now usurp a portion of the wealth of others in an unjust or wrong way, whilst you are knowing. So this is actually a specific prohibition on bribery.
So how did that interpretation come?
What? Tudlu means tulqu, give it, right? To give it to the hukam.
So how did? Okay.
So you're giving money to the rulers
is interpreted as give.
To give. Okay.
Is it applicable like if in countries like India where
Anybody in authority, hukam,
so
is
you
anybody.
have to pay something for them to do some work, even if you're not approaching any wealth or anything like that? Get permission for the house or
I mean, end of the day, that is right. So any benefit that you're getting from them that is not a service, then of course that is bribery.
it is a service, but still they
How there is a service? One is, let's say, for example, you wanna get your plan approved. That is something that they are duty bound to do without any payment, right? You're supposed to, but now you're paying them so that they speed up the process.
have to come
No,
to
no,
your
they will not
house.
even do that.
They will not even take your paper.
Yeah, unfortunately, the system has become so corrupt, and then unfortunately, we add to that corruption. But sometimes there's just no way out of it, unfortunately. So it's actually, so with regards to the ruling in that situation, whether a person is sinful or not, then because it's zulm, right? There's no way out of it. In that case, it is permissible, right? Because so it comes in the kitab that lidaf'i zulm, it's permissible, right? To repel zulm or oppression. In that case, that will be an exclusion. But otherwise, I mean, from the beginning, this thing, bribery is something which is something that's completely prohibited. You can get your driver's license or something in some countries, you have to. The guy will tell you straight, I'm going to fail you if you don't pay. So that is zulm now. So you're doing it now, you're paying that money to get rid of the zulm or to ward of that zulm from you.
يسألونك عن الأحلة. They ask you about the new moons. قل هي مواقيت للناس والحج. Say that they are indicated of the time periods for the people and for the Hajj. وليس البر بأن تأتوا البيوت من ظهورها ولكن البر من اتقى. And it is not from piety that you enter the homes from the back sides, but it is from piety that it is from piety that you fear Allah.
But righteousness is that you fear Allah. What's it?
Would it be the pious is the one?
ولكن البر, you can also so bir is, it's the masdar, right? So it's righteousness or piety is that you fear Allah.
What is the reason for Laysul Birru bi an ta'budu?
Yeah, so there used to be a group of people that when they would go out and suffer, and then they would cancel their suffer, so they would change their mind. They would come back home, and they would actually not enter from the door. They would come from the back of the house. It was some misconception that they had. It was
Their homes?
Their homes, yeah. So, and they would consider this to be an act of piety or an act of righteousness. That, because now I was supposed to go out and suffer and I didn't go out, it's not correct for me to come through my front door. I must come through the back door or come through the back. They would think this is something religious that they are doing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dispels this, that this is nothing to do with religiousness or piety.
Does this also imply that we should not be entering the house sneakily? Like
There's a wa'tul buyuta min abwabiha, that come to the homes from its proper doors, right? So, and in the hadith also there has been, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Sahabi that when you come home, inform your family that you are coming home, especially after a long journey. You should inform your family of your approach. Do not come upon your family in surprise. It has been mentioned in the hadith also.
Does it also applies to guests?
And that'll be all the more applicable.
Right. No, okay.
So,
ولكن البر من اتقى. Why is it birra and not birru?
because of لكن حروف المشبه بالفعل, the اسم. Carry on.
So وَأْتُوا الْبُيُوتَ مِنْ أَبْوَابِهَا, and enter the homes from the doors. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, and fear Allah so that you may be successful. وَقَاتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ الَّذِينَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا, and fight in the way of Allah those who fight you, and don't transgress. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Indeed, Allah does not like the transgressors. وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ
Al-Hafiz
ثَقَفْتُمُوهُمْ.
Mas'ud.
What's the translation of mawaqit, timing?
Yeah, a means of calculation. Right? So it's miqat, and mawaqit is the jama'. Right? The ismul ala. Alright. Where is Mas'ud?
وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ ثَقَفْتُمُوهُمْ وَأَخْرِجُوهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ أَخْرَجُوكُمْ وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ, and fight with them, kill them wherever you get hold of them, and turn them out of where they turned you out.
Mm-hmm.
And beware that fitna is more severe than killing.
What would you translate fitna as?
Which one? Well, fitna. Fitna is in the tafsir is a shirk minhum. Right? In specifically to refer to the shirk because it's a fitna. It's literal translation would be trouble or mischief. Right? Mischief is worse.
Basically
Yeah, mischief is worse than killing. That's right.
So not oppression by any.
وَلَا تُقَاتِلُوهُمْ عِنْدَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ حَتَّى يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ فِيهِ, and do not fight with them near the Masjid al-Haram until they fight with you over there. وَإِنْ قَاتَلُوكُمْ فَإِنْ قَاتَلُوكُمْ
حتى يقاتلونكم. It is not, noon has been dropped because of hatta.
Hatta, that's right. So remember we did because of hatta. Remember hatta was one of the nawasib al-fi'l al-mudari. Right? So
Okay.
فَإِنْ قَاتَلُوكُمْ فَاقْتُلُوهُم, and if they fight you, then fight in response.
So fight or kill them?
فَإِنْ قَاتَلُوكُمْ is they fight you. Right?
Fight.
فَاقْتُلُوهُم, then you kill them.
Then you kill them.
So qatala is to fight and qatala is to kill.
Such is the recompense of the disbelievers. فَإِنْ انْتَهَوْا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ.
Alright, so we done?
And if they refrain from it, then Allah is oft forgiving, merciful.
Okay, that's good. Alright, let's do the sarf quickly so that we can do nahwa after the salah. Sarf, we got 2, right? So one is ata ya'ti al-ityan, right? From daraba yadribu. So this here has a weak letter at the end. So ata, ataya, ataw. Atat, atata, atayna. Atayta, ataytuma, ataytum, atayti, ataytuma, ataytunna, ataytu, and atayna. And ya'ti, ya'tiyani, ya'tuna. Ta'ti, ta'tiyani, ya'tina. تأتي تأتيان تأتون تأتين تأتيان تأتينا. آتي, it's supposed to be آتي, right? So it becomes آتي, نأتي. And أتي, أتي, أتو, أتيت, أتيتا, أتينا, أتيت, أتيتما, أتيتم, أتيتي, أتيتما, أتيتن, أتيتو, أتينا. And يؤتى, يؤتيان, يؤتون. Alright, so it's supposed to be يؤتون, sorry, I made a mistake there, right? So yeah, it's supposed to be the jama of the mudari majhul, right? So it's yu'ta, yu'tayani, yu'tawna, it's supposed to be, right? So I got a dhamma there that's incorrect. Let's correct that. Tu'ta, tu'tayani, yu'tawna. Tu'ta, tu'tayani, tu'tawna. Tu'tayna, tu'tayani, tu'tawna. Uta, it can be read as u'ta as well, but it's easier to read as uta, nu'ta. And liya'ti is the amr. Liya'tiya, liya'tu, lita'ti, lita'tiya, liya'tina. And iti. So iti, but it's easier to do it with a ya, so it's iti, right? Itiya, itu. Like ituni bi kitabim.
If we read it ituni.
Sorry?
If we read it
ituni is also fine.
Yeah,
fine. That's fine. Right? So you can also say ituni. Yeah, so iti, itiya, itina. Then li'ati, because it's supposed to be li'ati, so it became li'ati, lina'ti. Then la ya'ti, la ya'tiyani, so la ya'ti, la ya'tiya, la ya'tu. La ta'ti, la ta'tiya, la ya'tina. So remember that the ya falls off in the hala of jazm, so it won't be la ya'ti, but la ya'ti. La ya'tiya, la ya'tu. La ta'ti, la ta'tiya, la ya'tina. La ta'ti, la ta'tiya, la ta'tu, la ta'ti, la ta'tiya, la ta'tina, la ati, la na'ti. The ism al-fa'il is atin, or if you put alif lam, it's going to be al-ati, right? For example, fil usbu' al-ati, right? The week that is coming, right? So al-ati. Atiyani, atuna. Atiyatun, atiyatani, atiyat. Then ma'tiyun, ma'tiyani, ma'tiyuna. Right? And ma'tiyatun, ma'tiyatani, ma'tiya. So it's like maqdiyun, right? Or marmiyun. Very similar.
So atin is the same like qadin in mansub and
That's right. So it'll be al-atiya. If you have like atiyan, and like al-atiya, like qadi, qadiyan, and al-qadiya in the hal of nasab. Right, and then again atuna, atina, right, in the hal of nasab and jar. Next one is wa'ada, right? This is also from daraba yadribu, but this is the weak letter that comes in the beginning. There's wa'ada ya'idu, right? So wa'ada, wa'ada, wa'adu, wa'adat, wa'adata, wa'adna. Wa'atta, wa'attuma, wa'attum, wa'atti, wa'attuma, wa'attunna, wa'attu, wa'adna. Ya'idu, ya'idani, ya'iduna. Ta'idu, ta'idani, ya'idna. Ta'idu, ta'idani, ta'iduna. Ta'idina, ta'idani, ta'idna. A'idu, na'idu. وعد 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 وعدت وعدتا وعدنا وعدت وعدتما وعدتم وعدت وعدتما وعدتن وعدت وعدنا. And يوعد يوعدان يوعدون توعد توعدان يوعدنا توعد توعدان توعدون, like إنما توعدون لآت, like إنما توعدون. So we have both the ism al-fa'il of atin that we, or ata that we did, and توعدون the mudari, right? توعدين توعدان توعدنا أوعد نوعد. Then ليعد ليعدا ليعدوا لتعد لتعدا ليعدنا. Then now, like, remember we did rith, waritha yarithu. So same thing here, the waw fell off, the weak letter fell off, so it became id, right? Ida idu, idi ida idna, li'a'id lina'id. لا يعد لا يعدا لا يعدوا لا تعد لا تعدا لا يعدنا لا تعد لا تعدا لا تعدوا لا تعدي لا تعدا لا تعدنا لا أعد لا نعد. واعد is a اسم الفاعل, right? واعدان واعدون واعدة واعدتان واعدة, very simple. موعود موعودان موعودون and موعودة, like how you get al-maw'ud, like wal-yawm al-maw'ud, right? The promised day. Maw'udatun is the feminine, maw'udatani, maw'udatun. Right? So wa'ada means to promise. Right? So you promised or pledged. That is what wa'ada refers to. So inshallah after the salah we'll do the nahwa and whatever needs to be done. Qasas as well. So